This is one of the greatest speeches I've ever seen any politician deliver. This is from Jason James. Let's just watch it. I watched it. It's actually quite moving. And I think I'm just going to play it in its entirety. I think it's worth it. Let's take a look.
When I travel across this country, I consistently meet two types of people. One, those who are a little better off and tell me that, and I'll be very blunt about this, if I don't win, they will leave the country. And they are very numerous.
Yes.
But I don't worry about them as much. You know who I worry about? The ones who can't leave. The ones who don't know, and if I can just use very blunt language, who tell me I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I have no idea how I'm going to pay my way.
That's right.
I met a waitress at a restaurant not long ago, and she came up to me and she grabbed me by the hand and she said, "You have to win." And I said, "Oh, thank you. I appreciate your support." She said, No, it wasn't a compliment. You have to win. And then she told me her story. She told me that she was working one full-time job and two part-time jobs just to pay her bills. As a single woman in her late 50s. And she was tired of working all the time. So she cut everything out of her budget, every creature comfort, everything she enjoyed about her life, she cut it out so that she could drop one of those part-time jobs. And then one morning, she woke up and she walked outside and her car was gone. And she called her insurance and they said they weren't going to cover the replacement value. So she had to take that job back because she simply cannot live her life without a car. Now you can bet your bottom dollar, the guy who stole the car, he was probably out on bail. This was not his first job.
That's right.
Her taxes have gone up. Her heating bill has gone up. Her wages have not gone up. She's scared to go out in the streets in places where they didn't even lock the door not long ago. These are the people we're fighting for. These silly games over here, they're very entertaining. The soap opera that everyone's seized with today, that's all fine. But there are real people whose lives are on the line here, and we have a duty to work for them. And quite frankly, this woman doesn't see me as any, or any of us as any kind of savior. They see us all as a last hope. In fact, she doesn't want to be saved. She just wants her life back.
Exactly.
She was taking care of herself just fine before her tax, her heat, her grocery bill went through the roof and her car went missing. She was doing just fine. She was doing everything right. Met another guy at the Labrat Brewery a few days ago, and you can watch the video of me talking with him. He walked up to me and he said, "I have 3 jobs and I can't make it. We're renting. We have no hope. We've given up on ever owning a home. We're renting. We can barely make it." And he said to me, "I feel ashamed when I talk to my kids because they ask me why I'm never around and why we can never have a house. And I feel like a failure." But he didn't fail. He has been failed.
That's right.
He has been robbed of the promise of Canada. It was a very simple promise that if you worked hard, you got a good life. Now, it wasn't fancy or extravagant, but you got a house with a yard where you could have kids playing safely. And you could have a nice dog that you could afford to feed along with the kids. And your kids could play safely in the streets. That was the promise. Now, politicians break promises all the time. But you know what was bad about this promise? This promise didn't belong to this prime minister. It wasn't his promise to break. It belonged to all of us. And our purpose is to bring home that promise for that young man, that young father, and that older female worker so that they can once again take back control of their lives, live in a safe country where their hard work earns them a good wage, where the rent and their food is affordable, and where when they go to bed at night, they know that they will be safe throughout their sleep and that they will have their car in their driveway in the morning. A country where people are proud again to fly the flag, where they know the government is a servant and not a master, where they understand that every day the Commons, this place works for the common people, not for the ego of one man desperate to cling on to his job. We must remember that we are servants in this place. We have a job to do on behalf of the people who sent us here. Our personal dramas are not important. The dramas that should seize all of our concern and imagination are the daily dramas of the working women and men that build this country. We are in it for them. We're going to give them back control of their lives in the freest country on earth, Canada. Let's bring it home.
Come on, get up, Lambert.
So no teleprompter. He's not looking down at notes. Unless he's the greatest actor in the world. That felt sincere to me. That moved me, that speech. That's a speech that Trudeau could not deliver. Trudeau grew up apart from regular Canadians and the concerns and challenges of regular people. Pierre Poilievre did not. He didn't grow up dirt poor. He grew up, kind of middle class, lower middle class. But he grew up around normal Canadians, right? With normal Canadian concerns and challenges, unlike Trudeau, who seems to be completely detached from the concerns, and certainly any concern of the well-being of ordinary Canadians. Trudeau seems to just live in some elitist fantasy world where the people eat platitudes. People can live on platitudes. He'll always have lots of money, right? He'll always be doing very well. In fact, he'll probably, after he's been kicked out with a disastrous, catastrophic loss, he'll probably go live, very well in Switzerland, or, he'll go work for the UN, something like that. He's incapable of giving a speech like that. But I thought that was worth seeing in its entirety. I think that was powerful, that was moving, and it really just gets the tone of where Canada is right now and what Canada needs. Canada needs that. That's what it needs. It doesn't need platitudes. It doesn't need to be shamed because it's not woke enough. It needs that real concerns. He's talking about real people with real challenges there. He's not talking about how it wasn't supposed to be like this, that Trump got elected instead of a woman because woman. That is so far from the concerns of regular Canadians right now. It's not even in the same goddamn universe. I mean, that speech there, I had to think anybody who was on the fence, who just, they just find it so distasteful to vote for a conservative. There's always been NDP or liberal or whatever. It's just been a fashionable thing. It's just been aesthetics. I have to feel there's people that have been on the fence that will watch that will look at that and say, yes, that's what we need. That's reality. He's speaking about reality there. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.